Hello guys, welcome to another episode of Dev's Kingdom. In this video, we're going to cover OpenManus, an open source version of the Manus AI. So in my previous video, we showed you how awesome this Manus AI is, and feel free to check that out if you're interested. In this video, we're going to show you how to build OpenManus step by step on Kaggle.com. It is a very popular project, and you see from the stars, it already got 25k stars in just a few days. Very good project. And so if you look at the installation steps, this is a little bit more complicated if you want to install that on localhost or a local machine. But in this video, we're going to show you how to do that on Kaggle for free. And also we're going to use Ollama and Groq models, those open source models instead of the GPT and also cloud models. So if you're interested, please feel free to follow through this video. So that being said, let's get started. And let's create a notebook on Kaggle.com. And first, because the OpenManus needed a Python 3.11 and above, so the default is 3.12 according to their environment documentation. And so in this case, we have to install Conda. So first, install Conda and create a virtual environment. Let's say call it Py 3.12. Then you basically have to map all the virtual environment system variables to the system variables. So make sure the paths of the Python is mapped and also the pip is mapped as well. Then we have to add all the path to this system path and also the environment paths. That should be the Conda setup. After that, you can check all the Python environment to make sure everything is mapped correctly. In this case, you can see that all the environment are mapped to the virtual environment. So the Python version becomes 3.12. So that's all for the Conda's installation. After that, make sure install Chrome because we're not gonna use the browser because we're in a notebook, so that we have to install Chrome and run that in a headless mode. In that case, you have to install Chromium Chrome driver, and also make sure you install the Nest async IO and apply that Nest async IO. And after that, make sure you install all these dependencies for Chrome because the Chrome is running in the backend instead of a pop-up browser. So make sure you install all these dependencies. After that, you download the Chrome as a basically a Debian package and do a Debian package install. So you basically install the Chrome. And after that, make sure you check the Chrome version and also the Chrome location. Make sure that Chrome is available and it is able to run a headless mode. Then after that, you can also run a print to PDF to make sure that this binary works. And after all the dependencies are up and running, make sure you install OpenManus. So this is the project we're going to work on. So first you do a git clone of this OpenManus repo and then cd to OpenManus. Then you have to install all the pip requirements, and after that you also have to install Playwright because the OpenManus uses the browser use. We also have browser use tutorials. Feel free to check that out in this channel. There's a lot of good tutorials, and then it should help you to understand and use browser use. And then in this video, we're gonna basically install Playwright. I'm not sure why the documentation didn't say that, but you do need to install the Playwright if you use the notebook. So. And after that, make sure you install the fonts Deja Vu because this is needed for browser use. Then you have to configure the environment. In this case, you're going to configure the LLM and LLM vision. So for LLM, we're going to use Ollama. So you can see that Ollama is set up. So how to use the Ollama on Kaggle or how to use Ollama on notebook, then search this channel. It should help you to set it up. I'll put the link in the description so you can follow that tutorial to set it up. But this is actually a Ollama instance on Kaggle using Kaggle GPU for free. And then you can see that this is running, and then it has models Llama 3.1 and also has a different Llama model which has a bigger context length. So it'd be Llama 3.1 actual context. So this would have a bigger context window, good for algorithms, coders, and also for use cases that need larger context window. So that's this Ollama setup. So we're gonna use this in the OpenManus setup. So you can, the model is Llama 3.1 extra context. The base URL is the URL that we set up, EB0B. So you can see it's EB0B, right? And after that, you basically have to also set up the max tokens and temperature. So the visual model, they're probably going to not use in this tutorial, but the visual model is probably going to use in some of the use cases. This tutorial is configured the LLM vision model, but probably not be used. And make sure you use the Groq model, or use other Ollama supported vision models. But in this case, we're going to use Groq. You can also use Groq models in the LLM, but we're going to use Ollama. So because this has a lot more flexibility. So, and let's continue. After you set up the environment and also configurations, then you have to use the OpenManus. Basically update the OpenManus files, because the default one is gonna use the Claude models and also gonna use a lot of the steps, which is probably not gonna work if you set up on notebook. So this is more of an open source way to actually get this running, so you can try it out. So we have to update quite a few files. First, you have to update the main file, because the notebook doesn't allow you to enter the prompt. So you have to basically add the prompt in here instead of input prompt. So if you use a terminal or something, then you can actually do a prompt input. You can input the prompt in the terminal, but as we're using the notebook, so you have to basically update this main.py, and then make sure that you change the prompt to the prompt you want to use. So, and in this case, we just want a 7-day Prague itinerary for April 15th to 23rd from Seattle with the 2,500 and 5,000 budget for my fiance and me. We love historical sites, hidden gems, and Prague culture. We want to explore cities or food and plan to propose during this trip and need a special location recommendation. Please provide a detailed itinerary and a simple HTML travel handbook with maps, attraction descriptions, essential phrases, and travel tips we can reference through our journey. And that's the prompt. So you can change a different prompt. So this is basically a refactored prompt from their default prompt. The default prompt is a little bit different for trip travel, but you can also check their results in the examples. So basically they have a different itinerary. You can just tweak this itinerary to actually figure out some of the tests. But anyway, we're going to use a different one. So we're going to use the different prompt to try it out. And also make sure you change or comment out this logger.warning. So this will create a lot of the text which is not needed. So if you run without comment this out, you're going to have a lot of debug information. So remove this. It's not needed for a notebook test. So very important. So also these two things to have to change with the main.py. And then you also have to update the Google search. So this is another tool. If you want to look for the tools for the OpenManus, go to OpenManus and go to the app, go to the tool. So basically these are all the tools that's currently supported in OpenManus. So we have to update the Google search tool. So this is not fully working for some reason, but you have to also update these links. Make sure that the links are in the try-catch block. Basically, sometimes the search, so this is using Google search. You can also update it to the DuckDuckGo search. If you use Google search, just make sure, or DuckDuckGo search, make sure the code is actually in the try-catch, because sometimes it will error out and then it does not return correctly. So make sure you do a try-catch, then it errored out, make sure you return an empty array. So you have to update this file to make that code working correctly. So so the second file you have to update is this Google search tool. So that's the change you have to make. And then you can add more debug information so that you can actually debug all these links that's generated from the Google search package or DuckDuckGo package. So that should be the change in this file. And then after that, you have to change the tool call. So the default tool call has a max step of 30. You can change that to 10 because sometimes if you put 30 steps, it's not going to work. For some of the APIs, if you use like Groq APIs, the 30 steps is too much. The rate limit will stop the running process in probably 15 steps. So make sure to change the max steps if you want to play around with the Groq or other APIs. So this is something you probably want to change so that you can test it out. And this is basically the only change you have to make in the tool call PY. And after that, you have to also make a different change in a different file, which is the browser use tool, because the browser use tool is gonna use the actual browser, but we are gonna use the headless mode. So make sure that this headless mode is turned on. So the headless is true. Make sure this ensure browser initialized function has a headless equals to true. The default is headless equals to false. So it's basically gonna pop up a browser. You probably don't want that in Notebook because it doesn't support it. So make sure to turn that to true. So that's the only change for the browser use tool. So make sure this is updated. And then, so these are all the files that need to get updated. So now you can start running the main.py file. This will actually mimic whatever in the Manus AI. So, but it is a CLI, and basically this project is done probably in the 3 hours after the Manus AI launch. So, which is very cool. So it's actually updated to build a replica to actually replicate the Manus functionality in just 3 hours, which is very cool. So, so then you can run this OpenManus main.py file. You can see that everything is running and it started to go through the steps and basically thinking what you're asking and also kind of picking the tools that's needed. So tools being used for the first step is Google search, browser use, Google search, Python execute, and then file saver. So, and after all these steps gonna run, so basically start thinking, pulling information from Google, and then after that you can see everything is updated for each step. Then basically it'll generate some of the results in here. You can see also file is also saved. There's a file is saved process. You can see from the some of the file saver tool. So you can see from this path, basically it's actually saved to a path to travel file. So then it will be saved to a handbook.html. You can see from here. So all this content is basically saved content successfully saved to path to travel handbook.html. So this is how the OpenManus works. So the internal workflow is very similar to Manus AI, but it's a CLI, so it doesn't provide you UI, but does give you a very good workflow and pipeline for your autonomous AI agent. And so that being said, hopefully this is helpful. If you do like this video, please subscribe, like, or comment. If you have any questions, thank you so much for supporting the channel, and see you in the next one.